All right. Hope everybody can hear me. Good morning. Great to be back on a live stream. That's awesome. Let me make my windows a little bit bigger to kind of stretch out to the screen there. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So this morning we are comparing SolidJS to React. And basically this is an opportunity for you to ask any questions from the video. Okay, so eye-opening, will you do a deep dive into the framework? Interesting. I mean, I'll take a look at like how some of the code is done because there's a great interview that I saw with the actual creator of it, Ryan Carniato, with my friend TJ. And so they did a really cool thing. So we'll dig in a little bit into that, but it's mostly going to be kind of a rehash of what we did in the comparison video. So let me just start with that. So we're going to be using Solid to recreate this React app over here. It's a really cool e-commerce app. There's a free API out there that you can get. So there you go. Oh, mean limbs forever. Okay. Okay. All right. Zindabad. React is Zindabad. Okay. By the way, I am a huge React fan. So this is basically, fan of one thing, also kind of saying, oh, I can be a fan of two things at the same time. So, okay, so I'm going to go over my temp directory. I'm going to go React versus Solid. And I'm going to go take the starter kit, the Solid eCommerce starter, and create Solid eCommerce. I learned so many new things just from this last video. Apparently, what I thought was Vite is actually pronounced Vite. So, who knew? Turns out that's a thing. It's French. Vite. Actually sounds a lot cooler when I say it that way. Okay, so here we go. And I'll fire up Yarn, and we'll give that 10 minutes to install there. I'm just kidding. It should be actually really quick because there's really not a lot to do. Ooh, ES build. There you go. Nice. All right. So let's do Yarn start. And now Vite 2.4.4 comes up. Let's go and hit up that. And in a second, we'll see that we've got basically a starter kit that's got Tailwind and a router and Solid. So there you go. Hello there from Tailwind and TypeScript. And of course, TypeScript. So the way that I got to that was by using the getting started. And then I've linked to it in the description down below. There is I think it's Dev2 or Medium post on how to go and put Tailwind in there. It's actually not that big of a deal. And then the Solid router is just, Yarn add that. Okay, so let's go take a look over what we're competing against. If we're competing against React, we've got an app.tsx file. This is a create React app that I've done Krakow so that I can go get Tailwind in there really easily. And Philippe, by the way, when you say yes, it's Vite, but it says Vite though, right? I mean, anyway. Okay, so we've got our React, we've got our React router DOM. The only interesting thing in here is React use, which uses this local storage up here. That's only because I just wanted something that was going to go and maintain the cart as you hit refresh. So let's see if I go and add like this nifty men's jacket or whatever. Hey, hello, come on. Wouldn't you know it? I love this sort of stuff. Okay. Anyway, this cart is maintained in local storage. There we go. Hello. So I go and add a cart of this nice slim fit t-shirt and this dragon chain. Then, if I hit refresh again and eventually it pops up, then yeah, it's maintained in local storage. So that's what I'm saying with that. Okay. So, all right. When basically we have our app, it's got the header at the top. It's got a router for jumping into the detail page. So if I click over here and get the detail page, that's handled by this path down here. So, pretty standard e-commerce stuff. And that's nice. If you want to just go take that and say, hey, I want to go show somebody some e-commerce chops, feel free to just go and take that and do whatever you want with that. But you notice that what we're doing here is a lot of prop drilling. So I go I set up my cart using that local storage. I'm going to set up my products using state. I got some add to carts and clear cart using use callback, which I strongly encourage you to do if you're doing React. And I use a use effect to go and fetch from this fake store API the products. Interestingly, the drill down on products has as much data as the original product array, so I don't know why you wouldn't just use the data from here. I don't know much about this fake store API.com thing, but it's not really a lot of data in there. All right. And then there's this cool little thing where if I'm on that detail page, for example, and I start typing like laptop, then I go automatically back over to the main route and then do that. So let me catch up on my comments here and see. Here we go. Okay. Oh, sorry to see you go, Haptic. Hail React.js. Okay. There you go. All right. So looks good. So let's go and start on our Vite implementation of this by going and grabbing the header. So I'll just copy and paste that and go back over here to Solid and go and create a directory called components. And in there, I'll create a header, TSX. So basically the same thing when it comes to like your extensions and all that. Everything's the same. In fact, you'll see that basically a lot of this is very much the same. Okay, so some things that are different are we're definitely not going to be bringing in anything from React. We're going to be bringing stuff in from SolidJS. For example, like component, which is how you define what a component is. So in this case, like we're not going to do function component because you don't have multiple versions of components. You just have function components, and that's it. So there's component, right? Like that. And then when it comes to React Router DOM, it's actually the solid app router we bring in. We don't have a product yet, so let's go get that. And we'll go and bring that into our source up at the top level, product.ts. This is just gonna be a copy and paste. Pretty simple. This is what we get from that fake store API, ID, image, price, title, category, description, all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, so now this seems happy up here. And I'm gonna get rid of this testing stuff here. Don't need that. Okay, now let's take a look down in here, and we got this use memo. We don't actually have that in Solid. We've got create memo. So I'm gonna do create memo and then bring that in like that. And we'll just leave it like that for the moment, but the one thing we do not need is this dependency array, and I'll get to why we don't need that in a little bit. Now let's go down here and start dealing with any kind of red squigglies and also this class name stuff. So let's change all our class names to class. One thing I didn't mention in the video, which is actually really cool, is that SolidJS supports this class list, which is basically like an XLSS or a CLSX kind of baked into the framework itself. So you can do kind of conditional classes and all that in that class list, which I think is actually really cool. Pushpinder says, I'm almost done with learning React. Another framework. Pushpinder, I think you're going to be fine with React for a long time. Believe me, there's enough projects out there with React that I don't think you're in any jeopardy anytime soon. Okay. Link has href instead of 2, minor difference there. And let's see what's down here. So on change becomes on key up, because we're dealing with raw events in Solid. We're not dealing with the synthetic events. And in that case, you get a current target, which I believe is also the DOM variant as well. So Solid is a lot closer to me to the DOM, and we'll see that in a little bit. I mean, it is really like kind of basically React as if you are dealing, it's kind of like a React vanilla JS hybrid. So it's really cool. Thoughts on Gatsby? I love SSG. That's my thought on Gatsby. I love static site generation. Me personally, I probably use Next.js 11. But I like, Hugo and Gatsby and all that sort of stuff. They come with a lot of great themes and everything like that. So there's a nice ecosystem around it. So if you like that, that's great. Okay, so what are we doing here? We would have to fix this map because we don't do maps in Solid. So we do a for iteration. So we're going to do a for in here. That's a tag. Oh, man. Sometimes GitHub Copilot can be a little bit too aggressive. Okay, and in that one, we're going to do for each, and then we're going to give it some data. So in this case, it's cart. and we'll get to it. It's actually we call it as a function. I'll get to that in a second. And let's just go and finish this up. Copy and paste this in here. We don't need an index because we don't. It's auto keyed for us. And that needs to be in an expression. Okay, that's good. And is there anything else? Okay, so total. Okay, so now well, all right. So let's start dealing with the state first. How we're going to manage state, because obviously this isn't the right way. So we need to go and create a cart, and we need to go and create this search string. So let's go back over to app.tsx, and we'll bring in create signal, which is the basic state mechanism of React. I'm sorry, of Solid. And okay, so now we're going to go and create a signal for search as an example. Set search, and we'll do create signal, and we'll just give it an empty string as our starting point. That way we don't have to type it. I'm guessing if I could also do, if I wanted to, string like that. That probably just going to force the typing on that. But since it's a string, we pick up that for free since it's a trivial TypeScript inference. So now let's bring in the header. Hopefully I'm exposing it as components header. Am I? Yes. Good. Yeah, I'm exposing it as a named export, which is good. I've come to the knowledge that named exports are better than default exports. Unless you're doing that React lazy thing where you can't get around it. But in most common cases, you want to use named exports. There's a great article called Default is Bad out there. I can certainly put that in the description. Okay, so now let's go and invoke the header. I apologize for my drinking coffee this morning. It is, 7 a.m. In Portland, so this is my second cup of coffee. All right, so we're sending on search, and we're sending on, well, it's on set search, right? So let's do that. Okay, and you can see that you're getting an error, and the difference is that in Solid, you don't get given a primitive value off of create signal. This isn't just a string. This is a function that returns a string. And by invoking the function, you end up subscribing to that. And that's why it's a function. I mean, they could do an observable, but I think that would up the bulk of the library a little bit. And, so this is a cheap and easy way to do that kind of pub-sub connection to that data. So we can do the same thing for products, since it's also going to be that type of thing. And now we can go and look at cart. So in this case, we're just going to do cart and call the function. And there you go. And so you can kind of compare this to like a use memo. In a use memo, you've got to go, let's go back over to our React. Go into header over here. In use memo, you got to define that you are depending on cart. Right? And that's because they're primitive values. By using that value, there's no subscription connected to it. So you got to tell React that, hey, I'm using the cart in here. And if you don't do it, then if cart updates, then you're not going to see it. And that's really critical. You don't get that in Solid because Solid maintains those relationships for you. By invoking cart in here, you create a connection between cart and this memo function. And when cart changes, total will automatically update. You don't need to go and build that dependency right for yourself. So that's a really big win. If you're into this reactive state management mechanism, which I think is really, really cool. And I think is kind of the future. All right, so let's look for more red squiggly. So search is just gonna be like that. And then let's see, cart is gonna be like that. Cart here is good. Total here is also going to return a function, right? So this create memo, just like create signal, returns a function instead of returning a primitive value. And let me see, one more thing, cart down here, cool. All right, nice. Okay, let's go back and create a cart because we don't have it. Cart, set cart. And we'll just start an empty array like that. And I want to type that out. So let's see. I want to bring in product from product. Yeah, there you go. Cool. And we'll make that a product array. Because in TypeScript, if you just give it an empty array, it's going to type that out as a never array like that, which is terrible. I think that's what it is. But it doesn't know what an empty array is supposed to be. In this case, we know it's a product. So we're basically saying, hey, by the way, this array is actually an array of products. Okay, so let's send our cart over to the component. And, on clear cart, this is actually just super easy. Boy, it's going off the edge of the screen though. Okay, so we'll just do set cart to, wow, an empty array, just like that. Okay, now we're finally breaking. Good. Okay, let's see if we actually got a thing here. Let's refresh, and we get a blow up. And the reason is not really anything to do with us, the fact that we just didn't put in a router. So I'll show you that. It's kind of one of those things. You just expect sort of similar sort of things with React where like, oops, you didn't nest your components properly. So let's go back over here and bring in router from Solid App Router, like that. And then just wrap the app in it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, even at 7 a.m. on a Friday morning. Okay, so let's go take a look. Hey, not a bad start. Okay, cool. So let's go and we can, oh, look at that. We can even roll over our cart, our empty cart. Not bad. Let me go and check my comments here. I mean, there is an SSR tool for Solid. I don't know if there's an SSR tool yet for Solid. So we'll get, at the end, I'm going to talk about like what the Solid ecosystem is missing and a bunch of the fun comments that I've gotten off of this video and other videos. Like, let me see, there's a good one here today. Like, let's see, there's not much of a fight. Facebook has all these engineers and infinite money, and Solid just has one dev who's trying to become a dev influencer. Is that me? I think I'm not the guy who runs this. I'm not Ryan. Yeah. Solid probably won't be maintained for a few. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So lots of fun comments that we can talk about when it comes to the responses that we've gotten. So anyway, all right. Okay. On input event. Can you use an on input event instead? Maybe. I'll check that out as we go on. Because right now it's just like, I don't know. It's not doing anything. Actually, well, hold on. Let me check. If we go over here to app, and I create a div, and I put in search in there, then we should see search, and let's make it like class equals, what is it again? Text 5XL or something? Text 6XL. That's going to be big. Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. All right. So you're saying I want to use on input instead? Let's give it a go. On input. Oh, okay. Let's try it out. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Alistair, good for you. Nicely done. On key up becomes on input. I'm a fan. Okay. So this is working. Got a nice connection here between these things. And you can see that's like really, really fast and easy. Check that out. Like I just did a create signal. It's getting set over here. There's just not a lot of a problem here yet. Okay, so let's go and bring in homepage, which is our list of products. So we'll go over here, create a new file called homepage. TSXXXXXXXS. Nope, just TSX. Okay. And again, I guess I'm going to need component probably for sure, and create memo. And that's going to come from Solid. Ain't got no React. And this is going to be a Solid App Router. And got the product. That's good. Okay, cool. Let's change our function component. We know we're going to need a function here. We know we're going to need a function there. And there you go. Okay, cool. So let's do a create memo. And again, like products is going to give us an array back. And we don't need to, and also search like that. And we don't need to track any of these dependencies, which is so nice. I do a lot of reactive programming in my day job. That is it. We don't use any state manager other than xstate for very specific things. And so we use only the basic React hooks. And so I do a lot of dependency arrays. And I can tell you that missing parameters in dependency arrays, that's like the #1 bug that we run into. And yes, I know there's a linting extension for that, but sometimes, you avoid it or whatever, and then you mess up, and that's a thing. Okay, so let's do, again, a map. Oh, no. What? There is a map? No, there's no map. It's 4. Okay, 4, and then I'm going to do each again and do products. Oh, wait. I think it's filtered products, right? Yeah. Filtered products. And then we'll get our function. And most of this thing is this function. Get that out of there. Okay, oops. Hey, you. Okay. Okay, that actually, I think that might actually work. As long as you have a list of products, which we don't currently. So there's that. All right, so let's go back over here to our app. And for products, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a create resource because it's an async thing. We need to go make that call to that HTTP endpoint and get that list of stuff. So do const products equals and then create resource. And I got to give it a function, and that function is going to be that fetch. So where's my fetch? Fetch. Who's got the fetch? I've got the fetch right there. Okay, cool. And that's it. That's all we need to do to get products. Because the fetch is going to it's looking for a promise, and it's going to get a promise, and that promise is going to be the fetch that I then take and turn it into JSON. Wait, no state management library, is that even legal? Oh my God, no state management library! Ah! Oh my God, it's so funny. I have done so many videos on state management libraries because of React. Jotai, recoil, Zustand. See, I know, by the way, I will learn Vite, and I will remember Vite, because I got schooled so hard on Zustand by Germans who are like, no, it's not Zustand, dude. It's Zustand. Okay, so here we go. We got products. And now we want to put in our homepage, so let's go and bring that in. I wonder if Jotai should be called Jutai, because there's like a thing over the, I mean, nobody's schooled me on that one yet. So homepage, like that, cool. And we also need, we need stuff from router. So let's go back. I'm all into the copy and paste with this stuff. So here you go, copy, paste. Somebody's talking about how senior engineers, it's all about like, they copy and paste code too, just from their own code. Like, not really, but okay. I copy and paste code all the time from Stack Overflow. All right, so here we go. So in here, it's going to be element. And then we're going to call homepage. And let's see, what does homepage need? Homepage needs products. Cool. And it needs search. I know I have that. And what else does homepage need? Add to cart. Okay, cool. So let's do on add to cart. Oh, look, holy moly. Oh man, sometimes GitHub Copilot is just spookily good. Although in this case, it's going to be like that. All right, so products, why does it? Oh, okay. And I'm going to type this. So it's product is an array like that. Is that what you're concerned about? All right. Maybe, why is that? Okay, let's see what happens over here. Okay, so if I refresh, I'm going to expect a blow up. And the reason is that, let's see. Yeah, products is not a function. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, yeah. I think I messed up this way the first time. So this is actually this is an array return. There's an extra item in this tuple here that allows you to like recall, like do another version of the, run the request again, that kind of stuff. So it's basically there's like a React query built into this thing, which is really cool. Okay, so that was not the blow up I was expecting. I was expecting this blow up, which is cannot read the property filter undefined. And that's because until this thing resolves, products is going to be undefined. So all you need to do in that point is add on initial value is an empty array. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, let's hit add to cart. Oh, check that out. I hit add to cart. Our add to cart function actually worked and added it to the cart. Okay, we're done. Thanks, guys. Beautiful day. Awesome. Well done. All right, no, just kidding. All right, let me check up on the comments here and see how we're doing. Man, you're so lucky to be able to jumpstart from a coffee. Does nothing for me. Yeah, you know, you got to change around your habits every once in a while. Okay, so if I have SolidJS, do I need an Express server to make a full stack app? I guess so. Yeah, you're gonna need some. Well, you would, unless you want to do an SSG type thing. I think there's a lot of potential for SolidJS with microFEs and in static site generation. Is hot reloading working in fast invite as well? Well, you can definitely see it seems to be working okay for me. All right. Actually, Jotai should be pronounced Yotai. Yotai. I like that, actually. Also, are there any good form validation libraries for SolidJS? No. So that's one of the things. Like the ecosystem is missing a really good like material or chakra type toolkit. Is missing a form validation library. And I was thinking one more thing. I was thinking, like an SSR, SSG type Next.js style framework. And I know that sounds like, well, it's missing everything, but you know, like React didn't start where it is today. Believe me, it was pretty rough and tumble there back in the day. Okay, so looks like we've got a homepage doing pretty well, but before we bring in, because I'm not super stoked about all this prop drilling that we're doing, and if I was to bring in the product detail page, we'd just be doing more prop drilling, and there is an easier way to do this in SolidJS. So I'm just going to go and take all this stuff, and I'm going to create a new file. I can call it anything I want, but I'm just going to call it store.ts since I don't know. Like that's what we do in JavaScript. We just do stores. And I'm going to go and just bring in all that. I'm going to bring in product like that. And that looks pretty good. And I'm going to export all this stuff. Export. That's even better than export. That's like extra awesome export. Woo. Okay, here, there we go. All right, so let's go back over to app.tsx, and then let's blow up our app by literally removing all this, and removing all that, and removing all that. Oh my God, it's terrible. Actually, let me go and, I'll go and change this. I actually want that. Okay. And then we'll go over, oh, look at that. We can go, look at all this stuff we can get rid of. Yay. You're like, oh my God, you just destroyed your app. It's true, I did. Okay. We'll call this one export const add to cart. And we'll say there's a product. And we'll create another one called clear cart. Thank you again, GitHub. Okay, cool. Now let's go back over into our app. Do we need anything in there? Nope, we don't. Let's go in our header and we'll start bringing in some stuff. So I'm going to go and bring in cart and clear cart and search. And oops, I got to set search as well, but oh, that's fine. Set search from the store. And then we can literally get rid of all our parameters, just like that. We can get rid of all of this, just like that. And let's see, the only thing we need is we need to change set search from on set search to set search. And we need clear cart. There we go. Okay, we'll make it a function that when you call it, does clear cart. Cool. I think actually, can I just do clear cart? I think I can actually. Yeah, sure. I'll take it. Okay, and then let's see. So I'm going to go and grab this and go back over to our homepage and see if we can do the same thing over there. So let's see. So can we get all that stuff from the store? So long story short here, basically all that context stuff and all the Sturm and Drang about, oh, okay, I need products as well. Bring that in. And I guess I don't need cart or clear cart. Let's take a look. And is there anything else? Okay. Any red squigglies? Yeah, there's on add to cart. Okay, so I need add to cart. Oh, look, it added. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Okay, looking good. So let's check it out. Oops, if I refresh, it works. So basically, wherever you want to do create signal, wherever you want to create state for yourself, you just do it. If you want global state, you can create a store file and add some stuff into it. You can create multiple store files. You can have store files depend on each other. You can go and create local state if you want to have like a, button depressed or, animation not finished signal or whatever you want to do. You can make state wherever you want to make state. So basically the use state is unlocked from being inside of a function. Okay, so here we go. So MonoLisa, what's your font, please? Font is MonoLisa, and theme is Nightwolf Dark Blue. You want to do Nightwolf Dark Gray? Ooh, not a fan. Okay. All right. Nightwolf Black? I don't know. I think that's kind of nice, actually. What do you think guys think? Yeah, it's a mess. We do not have... Wait. They do not have somebody. They do have a React. They do have a context API. Actually, you just don't need to use it unless you really need to use it. So you start using it for the things that you really would want to use it for. Like for example, like theming, like dependency injection, not doing store style state management, right? So that's kind of context becomes more pure in this sense. Yeah. Okay. Not gonna lie. Right? Okay. There is an example of form validation, but it's kind of tricky. Not gonna lie. Maybe I'll do a video on SolidJS form validation. Could be. Okay. So now that we've got that done, now that we've seen how cool, like, oh my gosh, look at how clean that is. Let's go and bring in product detail and see how quickly you can get that together. Copy that. And product detail. Let me see if I can get the TSX right this time. I can. First time. Okay, wow. I use a lot of use memos. All right, I'm going to use component and create memo again from Mr. Solid. I'm going to use params from Solid App Router. It's pretty cool, actually. The two actually are very close. Besides that, like link to versus link function or whatever. Use params give you back exactly what you expect from React Router DOM. It was cool. Okay, so we don't need products and we don't need add to cart. We already have that. Because we can get that from the store. Products and add to cart. And get that from the store. Ta-da! Create memo again. And again, once again, we don't need to worry about products being in our dependency array because we don't need no stinking dependency arrays. That's pretty cool. All right, and then we'll go down here. Let's see. Oh, we have a product. And let's go and do that. Product. And we'll also change that class name to class. Not that that's required. It seems to work without it, but whatever. Did I do the same thing over here? I didn't. Okay. Class. Okay. All right. Are there any issues here? Yeah, add to cart. Add to cart. Cool. Oh, and we need product as a function. And I'm going to do prevent default. Okay, nice. All right. So let's go and see if this works. Let's go over here to header, our app. Bring in our product detail page. And and create a new route for that. Product detail. And say, what is it again? If I go over here to, I just got to click on something. There we go. Detail 1, detail ID. Holy moly. Oh, and speaking of hot reloading, yeah, that was, I'll call that fast. I mean, you guys are watching, like, this is exactly how fast this is. Like, I'm not, like, yes, I am caffeinated this morning, but it's not the caffeine that's making this work. Okay, and let's see, can I add to cart? Yes, I can. And looks good. We're buying a whole bunch of these fold sacks. They actually are pretty cool. A nice little Firefox sort of thing going on there. Okay, and oh, the one thing. Okay, so we got 2 more things if we want to make this an actual thing. We can do local storage, and we can make this. I can show you how to use basically a use effect in this. And I didn't do that in the original video, so I might as well do that first. So what I want to do is over here in the header, I want to go and get some more stuff out of here. I want to get the use location, I think, and then the use navigate. Okay. And I'll make location, use location, and I'll make navigate. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much. GitHub and Copilot, and we'll go and create an effect. So create effect, and then within that, I want to say, oops, I don't know why that did that. Sometimes GitHub Copilot's just amazing, and other times, sometimes not. Okay, if the location is not slash, and the search text is not that, then we want to navigate to the home page. So let's see. Let's give that a try. So I'm basically saying if we're not on the home page and you start typing, then navigate to the home page. All right, so let's go into detail on this gorgeous semi-solid micropave and start typing laptop, and away we go. Well, that was tough. Okay. So again, you're automatically subscribed to search. And that's really the essence of reactive programming here, is that, search is automatically going to change. You're automatically going to be subscribed to it. And then anytime this search changes, this effect is going to fire, and away you go. You don't need to go and do this error-prone dependency array like that, So I think that's a huge, I know that seems like, oh, wow, that's nothing. But it's actually, as you can see, it's really huge. You can move data wherever you want to. Everything sort of works the way that you expect. And I get why, by the way. I'm a React fan, and I get why it is the way it is. If you think about the history of how React evolved, and we had class state, and that was all made up essentially of primitive values, right? You can't just go over to hooks and then start putting out observables. The library is already getting big enough, which is what they'd have to do. They'd have to do observables. And the library was big enough with the addition of hooks, and people were like, what's this hooks thing? I don't get it. And so having hooks return primitive values made sense from a developer experience perspective, but the downside is that you had to do those dependency arrays, and that's not so great. Okay. So coder who never played Vite gets blown away on HMR speed. Coder who never played with Vite gets blown away by speed more as it develops. Indeed true. You are true. Okay, well, let's do local storage, and then we can talk about speed and performance, and I'll answer any more of your questions and all that kind of good stuff. So let's go back over here to store. And I want to try and use a different thing. I don't like how, let's see. So search is one section. Like if I were to kind of organize this, right? We've got search, we've got products, and then we've got all this stuff related to cart. So I want to do create mutable. Oh, whoa. Oh no, I know what it is. It's in the store package, or the store section of the package. SolidJS store, and it's create mutable. So basically there is a MobX style clone built into into Solid, and it's called create mutable. So I'm going to create a new thing called cart. Well, I'm going to recreate cart, and it's going to have a list of products as a product array. It's going to have add to cart. Oh, it's going to have actually a total. So a function that computes the total based on what's in the cart. It's amazing. Wow, how good GitHub Copilot is sometimes. Is that actually going to do this for this? So this dot products. Yep, that's good. Reduce. Yep, that's what we needed. Total. Yep, that's good. Total plus product price. I'm sold. Okay. Add to cart. Do I want, or just how about add? That works. Okay. So then let this dot products dot push product. Fair enough. I'll buy that. Remove product. How about remove clear? How about that? Okay. And we don't need a product. We're just going to say this dot products equals that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So GitHub Copilot is doing a lot of the coding this morning. All right. So there we go. There's our cart. And now we need to go and change our header. So we're just going to get cart. And we don't even need cart total anymore. We're going to need total because we're going to get that from the cart. Cart.products. And then cart.products. And notice I'm not actually using a function at this point. So it is more along the lines of a MobX style thing. It's an observable. And when it changes, you just get updated automatically. So if you want that type of API, it's got that too built right in. So let's see, again, cart clear, call that method, cart total, cool. And do I have any, oh, there we go, cart again, cart.products.length. I could make a cart count, that would work too. All right, and then let's go over to the home page and see if I'm blowing up stuff there. So that's cart again. And cart.add, I guess I made. Yeah, that works. And then over here, cart. And this is the value of TypeScript, right? I'm getting like these red sections over here saying, you got problems. You know, you don't often get that in JavaScript unless you got a really good IDE. Okay, so cart.add. And let's take a look. Refresh. Great. Okay, cool. Add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. Very cool. It's got my total going. Good to go. And so what this allows me to do then is now that I've got all that sort of fused in one spot, I can go and do some local storage stuff. So I can go back over here to store, and I can make this a little bit weirder. I'm going to say, let's see, window.localstorage.getItem cart. And if that fails, then I just want an empty array, but as a string. And then I want to JSON parse that as a product array. How's that grab you? And then over here, I want to go in window.localStorage set item. Oh, look at that. Thank you. I want to set cart to be the stringified copy of products. Local storage is a string-based mechanism. You got to go and coerce everything into and out of strings. That use local storage from React Use is doing that for us for free. We don't get that here. So there you go. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see if we have a persisted cart. So let's hit refresh. And it looks like we actually do have a persisted cart. So let's go and clear it. And then add a couple things to it. Hit refresh. And there you go. Kept in local storage. So in fact, we can even go over here to the console and do window.localStorage. Oh, look, I'm so used to get item chime. No, I don't want that. I want cart. There you go. There's our cart currently. Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, let's go and take a look. Now that let me actually look at, kind of catch up on any comments here that we got. I think it's just pub sub. Let me just go back and take a look. Well, how do they persist the state? Local storage. Do they use proxy or SMTH? Create memo smells like a child between use ref and use memo. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Haven't had the chance to go through the source, but it's definitely PubSub-ish. Yeah, sir. AES build plus Vite plus module federation equals heaven. Yes. How is detecting dependencies using reflection? I don't know if it is. Thank you for existing. Wow. Thank you. I don't. Okay. Oh, I'm happy to help you understand stuff. How do you use module federation with ES build? Actually, who is it? Jacob Ebby did some stuff just recently with module federation and ES build, and I was thinking about doing a video on that, but I was kind of just attracted to Solid, and I want to do another video on Solid because I did another page in Solid, and I was like, oh man, I want to share this with you. So, I'll get there. Instead of being repeatedly calling the subscriber to create signal, okay, cool. I assume you can store it as a variable and then use the variable within the component. No. Joel, you cannot do that. So that's one of those things where, in React, there's certain rules about not, as an example, don't have different numbers of hooks. You can't use a conditional, you can't say if this, then make a hook, that kind of thing, because it stores the hooks as indexes. There is a similar sort of thing in Solid, which is never do, let's see, here's an example. This search, right? Don't do, thank you for asking that question, because I want to show you why this is the case. Don't do this. And the reason being that this homepage only ever gets run once. So let me actually demonstrate that. So I'm going to go over here to app, and then I'm going to go and get, God, man, if I could type this morning, that'd be great. And I'm going to do a console log. I'm going to say app with that index, ++. And so anytime app re-renders, we're going to see that in the console, right? And let's do the same thing over in pick one, header. So we'll do header again. And then we'll go and grab that console log and put that into there. This time we'll say header, like that. And now, if I do inspect, and I do console, and okay, cool. So if I refresh, you'll see the app, it gets done once, and header gets done once, so 0, 0. And then I can do add to cart, and look at that, the cart is changing, but none of this stuff is getting re-rendered. That's why Solid is as fast as Solid is, because they're not doing all of the rerunning of all the components that creates the elements that are then compared to the VDOM that is then synced with the current DOM on the page. All of that is avoided. Basically, you only ever run these components once as you get new values, and that's why you can't do that kind of thing over here. Like if you, as I was saying, like search. If you were to do search here now, right, you would get the first value of search, and that's it forever and ever. If you were to do it here. Okay, so let's go actually compare that. If you don't think that React is doing that, let me convince you that it is. Oh, actually, I've got that instrumented right here, so there we go. Let me go over to our React page. There's the React app, and I'll go and bring up the inspector, click on the console. Yeah, and you can see every time I go and hit add to cart, for example, the header is re-rendering, the app is re-rendering, everything's re-rendering. Right? There we go, there we go, there we go. So lots of re-rendering happening in React and nothing happening over on Solid, and that's why you're getting it so fast like that. In fact, actually, and this is one of the reasons why I brought up this really cool interview between Ryan and TJ, is because he goes into some detail as to why this is so fast. And basically he uses the playground, and you can see that, you got this button over here, you got this counter, like, here we go, we increment that button like that. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it. Like, there we go, I'm just incrementing. And you can see down in the compiled code, all that's really happening here is they've got the element for this piece of text right in here, and they're just connecting it to the count, which when the count updates, that one particular element gets regenerated. And that's why this is so blazingly fast. So how blazingly fast? Well, let's go take a look at the really cool speed comparison chart. Now I've gone in, selected just a bunch of frameworks. We can go and add on whatever we want. Like let's go and add on Angular. I don't know, is Angular? No, that's not a good, like Angular V12, right? That's more reasonable. Okay. And then we can take a look over here. I always love doing this sort of stuff. Okay, so yeah, you've got vanilla.js, which is your baseline, right? So 1.0. Everything's compared to vanilla.js. And in this case, SolidJS, with this particular set of benchmarks, ranks at 1.09, which is just like slightly worse than coding it yourself in vanilla.js. Svelte, which is rockin' fast, we all know that, clocks in at 1.33, Vue at 1.81, Stencil 2.15. I only brought up Stencil because somebody brought it up. Angular at 2.9, and then React at 2.97. So you can see big differences in the performance because of everything that React has to do to keep up with the changes in the system. As you saw from when you click on if you're doing that kind of prop drilling and you're not constraining or using context or using a state manager or something like that, right? If you're doing that prop drilling, you're going to get a lot of re-renders. Those re-renders are going to create more elements, and those elements are going to need to be checked against the VDOM, and the VDOM is then going to need to be checked against the DOM. And so that's just a lot of work to do, and that's why it's basically 3 times slower than Solid. And I think that's really cool. Basically, you're getting sort of vanilla JavaScript-y style speed, but you're getting a React-y style interface, which is mind-blowingly good. So lots of talk about. Let me just bring up a few of the comments here. There's a classic one that I had in the video, which is, I've never seen an effing framework need so many additional libraries. And we talked about this, the state, how you don't need a state manager when it comes to SolidJS. And I think that is fixing the fundamental design flaw in React, which is that React was never meant to be your state manager. It was always meant to be coupled with something like a Backbone or a Thorax or something like that in the early days. And then later on with Redux, it was always meant to be coupled with one of those. So it was going to handle all the view, and the state manager is going to handle all the state. And then hooks came in and it kind of muddied those waters a little bit. And so that's why when people look at hooks, they're like, oh man, this isn't the React this isn't the state manager that I wanted. And I don't disagree. Okay, so, and then, as I mentioned, the primitive value stuff, I like React's use state better. Syntax-wise, primitive values are more convenient than functions. Fair enough. And then I'll rant about, new frameworks and every 5 years and yada, yada, yada. Which is interesting because, the whole back-end versus front-end thing, when did Nest.js come out? It's not like the back-end isn't evolving. We've gone from XML-based REST returns to JSON-based REST returns to WebSockets to GraphQL. And there's also the binary transport stuff as well. I mean, it's not like the backend doesn't evolve, guys. Seriously. Okay, and then let's see. Not much of a fight. Yeah, this is the fun one. Okay, so how do we improve Solid? How do we, as a community, make Solid better and into something that actually would be consumed by large companies? And I don't know, actually, does he have any it's in use by stuff? Not yet. Okay. There's usually the banners of all the different companies that are using it and all that. Right. So how do you get it there? Because React wasn't always there. I mean, back in the day, React was fighting with Angular, kind of top dog early on. So it's not like React has always been top dog. It was not always the easy choice. So we got it there because of the ecosystem, and the ecosystem at this point lacks, as you mentioned, in Next.js with SSR and SSG. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. I don't know, but you can tell me. And then a good form manager and a good like material or chakra style UI toolkit would be awesome. I think actually having both of those is really good because I think material picks up your sort of corporate folk who are used to sort of that kind of feel, and then chakra brings up your kind of more lightweight folks who are like want like a tailwind thing but want some components wrapped around it, and that's a nice chakra type system. All right, well, let me answer any more questions that y'all have, and this has been fun. This has been really good this morning. I appreciate you showing up and talking to me. Okay, so unless you don't need to react on any change value in component all the time, you have to. That's what I thought. If I use a call my function, okay. I like your voice. Well, thank you. Virtual DOM or no virtual DOM, which is better? I'd say no virtual DOM. I mean, I get the point of why there was a virtual DOM. It comes from video games. Video games have this blitting thing, and you're basically, essentially. No. It was more along the lines of a view tree where you needed to be able to, like, if you're programming Doom as an example, you only want to render the stuff that you can actually see, right? And so view trees, which is essentially the DOM, the VDOM, allows you to go and kind of pare down and make performant what you want to re-render. And so that was where that came from. And that's why it came from React, because the guy that made Doom is over at Facebook and all that. But I think if you can get away without it, it's faster, obviously. Okay, so making libraries compatible, solid, way better idea. I mean, some things are compatible. If you have a state manager, like let's say XState, he's actually got an example using XState. XState is factored nicely in that there's XState, which is the engine, and then there's XState at XState React, which is the bindings for React. There's also XState probably Vue and other things which connect XState into those ecosystems. And so if you got a state manager that does that, then you can use it with Solid. And he's got an example of using XState, which is awesome. So that's really good. But there are things like, for example, Apollo. Apollo is hardwired to, the Apollo client is hardwired to React. There are implementations of the Apollo API surface for Svelte and for Vue, but they're actually different projects. So it's always good if you can get your library to kind of be like segmented like that, so that you got the main library that's got the logic in it, and then you got adapters that can go to various other libraries like React. Then that makes it more reusable. I think is great. And of course, a Bootstrap component library. Yes, absolutely. Since Bootstrap is the elephant in the room, is Bootstrap still a thing? I mean, I guess, yeah. Everything is still a thing. jQuery is still a thing. That's the funny thing about living in the React ecosystem is we all think, oh my God, React is the elephant in the room. No, jQuery is the elephant in the room. jQuery is on 100 times more sites than React is. Still. All right. Well, this has been super fun. Thank you so much for showing up and spending your morning with me and bearing with me while I drink coffee and caffeinate and going through this again. And Ryan, if you're around and you want to collaborate on a video, love to do that. Love to show off some more of your work. I think this is great stuff, and it's a great thing for the community to just kind of push React forward and to give us a really good system regardless. Oh, and sorry, one more thing before I go. So I do think, let's talk about some potentials of where you could use SolidJS today. So the first one would be back-end apps. I would say things like if you're doing a CMS app for a company, that kind of stuff, those you can usually use a different technology set than what's up on the front end. So that's an interesting input point. Another one would be micro FEs. We talked a lot about module federation. So the obvious thing to do there would be, hey, I've got this, a cart micro FE, and look how tight this is. Oops, that's one thing I forgot to do. Hold on, let me go and show you how tight this code is. And control it. Okay, now we're over here. Okay, so this is I'm going to do yarn build on our React app. Head over here, bring up the terminal, do yarn build over on our Solid app. Let's go back over here. Oops. There we go. Are you done? Okay, so let's go and open up the dist directory. Oh, is it dist? Yeah. Okay. Oh, so here's our solid app, and let's go and sort by document type. And we got 2 documents, and we got 28K in total. I'm sorry, I can't make that any bigger. Can I? Oh, wait. Nope, I can't. You got 28K worth of JavaScript to do our app. And so if you think about like that from a micro fee perspective, how much time do we spend in terms of micro fees worrying about, are we going to share the React core? Because the React core is so big, we can't afford to download it multiple times to the page. You don't even have to worry about that here. I mean, 22K for the core plus 20 and plus 6K for the app. I mean, that's 28K. That's not a huge amount, and you don't really have to worry about that much when it comes to micro fees. So I think there's a huge potential here to use micro fees for this. So let's go and see and compare that over to our React app. Let's see. So open. That's. Are we still in? Oh, we're in solid. Okay. Boy, I can get my key bindings right today. Okay. And nope, still in solid. Just go to the window. React eCommerce. There we go. Okay. So open the build directory, and so over in our React license or our React system, let's go just drill into here. Sort by kind. 163, 167, 177, 179K for exactly the same app. So 179K versus 28K. So it's kind of a win right there. And as you can see, I mean, why is that? Well, you don't have to do the VDOM, so you're not spending any bytes on doing that. And yeah, just tighter code that doesn't have to support things like classes and all that. All right, well, I'm just running on here, but it's been really fun this morning. So thank you so much. Any more questions or comments, please be sure to put those in the comment section down below. Of course, if I could get you subscribed to the channel, that would just be awesome. And if you want to go and send this off to any friends and say, hey, watch this crazy guy who wears SpaceX t-shirts and does SolidJS and React stuff.